And again, please take the poll. I see a few have answered, but I see a lot more attending. So either that's because you're not sure how to answer or you're just not ready to face that question yet. The poll question, Principal Frazier, if you're not seeing it, is where's your school district at, school or district at, with your instructional continuity plan for the 2021 year? Okay. It's not something we definitely would have thought to talk about last year, right? But now all of a sudden we're having to have these discussions. Yeah. So I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share it so that we can see what we're looking at. Are you seeing my screen, everyone? So it's kind of what I thought I was going to see. In the process, lots of moving parts and people involved. To that question, Principal Frazier, I didn't actually let you answer it, but I would love for your thoughts in seeing these answers here, knowing that there probably are lots of moving parts and people involved in creating this plan and thinking through what the school year is going to look like in 2021.
Well, for us, and I think you hit it right on the head in process. So for us, it's creating a roadmap for our teachers to work together in planning and developing and implementing a multidisciplinary career focused integrated high school plan. But as of right now, we put systems in place to have the leadership team come in the summer whenever CDC guidelines allow, to make sure this is the time right now to bring in your faculty handbook into play, to bring in all those documents that have been following the status quo that you've copied and pasted and went on to the next year, and to bring in a team of trusted individuals to go through things with a fine-tooth comb. It's time to get away from the status quo. And COVID is good or bad or indifferent, has given us this opportunity to do so. So although we do have some concrete plans in place, some things that we really want to do, right now those things are provisional, based on us sitting down as a team and going through everything and making sure that things that were done in the past are now obsolete. And we need to make sure we're not just doing things based on an antiquated system, but we're doing things the right way and in a different way, in an innovative way, using platforms such as Bulb and different ideas. So we're really excited, and we're excited for the opportunity to collaborate with you. And so thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. And so we're just going to get started. That was fantastic. And I think definitely something that's going to be woven throughout this conversation today. So with that, I would just love to start by introducing Principal Frazier to our webinar today. And I am going to share my screen here so that we can do this properly. Here we go. And I know I'm not even in present mode. All right. So welcome today to our final webinar in May, where we are sharing today a principal story, how a Miami high school navigates remote learning and their 2021 plan. And as you can see, our guest of honor here is Principal Frazier, and we're really excited to have you. I would love for you to take a couple minutes to just give us some information about who you are, what you've been doing within education all these years, and give us some information about Turner Tech.
Well, I've been in the system for 24 years. It's been a great journey, a product of Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So that's always a blessing to come back and give and share the things that you were able to gain, that knowledge, and make sure that it permeates throughout the community. So I've been blessed to have that opportunity. Turner Tech's a special place. We have about 1,350 students, and 90% of our students are on reduced and free lunch. So this is the demographics. We have about 85% of our students of African descent, and Caribbean influence and native to Miami and different cultures. We have about 13% Hispanic, and about 2% that identify as white or other. College rate is 81% college rate. We have 10 advanced placement courses, dual enrollment through Miami-Dade County, Miami-Dade College, and FIU. So it was really a great school. Recently, we were selected as one of the high schools for the CUBE conference, which is the Council of Urban Educators. And we were selected because of the things that we're able to do despite the area that we're in. And those individuals represent 49 state school boards and Virgin Islands, and they came to see our academic success, and it's been a blessing. The entire journey's been a blessing. The last 4 years, we've been over 95% graduation of about 300 kids. This year, we have about 350 seniors, ranging from
Wow.
Ivy League to HBCU. So it's been a great journey. Myself, being in the system, I know definitely we have to take the lion's share of the blame, and we take a small piece of the credit. So right now, I'm going to stop and go through the questions and make sure that my students and teachers are spotlighted, because that's who deserves it. And if you want to, interact with me further, or you want to know anything about me, you can just follow me, Principal Frazier, on Instagram, and I'll be happy to dialogue with you there. But let's get to the questions. Let's talk innovation. Let's talk change. Let's talk revolution.
Love it.
So let's go.
That sounds great. All right, so let's just do that. We're going to go right into the questions now. So we're just going to start it off. Principal Frazier, I would love for you to share with our attendees here, why did you choose to implement digital portfolios on your campus? And I'm really curious, how did you go about getting your educators, your team to want to do this? Oftentimes when you implement new technology at any point within the school year, or even at the start, it can be stressful. And so we would love to know why digital portfolios, and how did you do it?
Well, one thing I've learned is when you see schools or even financial institutions or different businesses, if you see and that they're not running at optimal capacity, it deals with time. So for us, the first thing that we recognize is the precious commodity of time and streamlining different things. So time for us was of the essence. We have a portfolio and a capstone project. And in the past, that project is integrated. So we deal with the academy leader, we deal with the English teacher, the science teacher, the social studies teacher. We have abstracts, we have mentorships. There's a lot of moving parts. So now you're having communications about where's the paper go, who's the paper go to, who's grading this portion. Like the kid is stuck in the middle. And when you talk about kids in this age range, they exploit gray areas like no other. I'm pretty sure we all know that. So if it's not
Got 3 teenagers at home.
if it's not something black and white, then they exploit the gray area. So we wanted to put something concrete in place, and Bulb was the perfect platform for us. So now you're posting this product on Bulb, and now all of the teachers involved in this process have access to your documents, to edit your document, to grade your document, to have feedback with your document. So it really turned out to be a very dynamic and innovative tool for us. The second part of your question, as far as buy-in, and this is for those leaders in the building or on the platform. The first thing, it starts with you. So the principal, maybe after a year or two, the entire building takes the tone of the principal, for good, bad, or indifferent. So whoever you are, the school's gonna gravitate to your personality and how you handle things. And so if you're giving a lukewarm presentation of this, or it's not something that you're passionate about, then it's gonna fall by the wayside. So the first thing you need to do, if you're going to implement the program, you need to figure out if it's something that you want to implement. And once you go through it and you do the research, it's something that really fit me. So I was into it. If it fits you, I would definitely do the research and be into it so you can speak to it fluently and you can, have that impression on your staff because they could tell. And so now when you're charging to your leadership team to go out and promote this tool, instead of the conversation being, they said to do this, is we're doing this. And so that abstract needs to definitely happen. After the administrative support, after you pitch it and you get everything in, your APs, your assistant principals, and your leadership team, they play a huge role. Myself, I have a dynamic leadership team. I'm very happy with my curriculum council and the things that they were able to accomplish. It starts with you and you disseminate it to them and you explain it well to them and they're going to go out and represent that product for you well. After, you have to inspect what you expect. I mean, you definitely need to walk the building. You need to walk around. You need to see it. You need to celebrate successes, really important. I think when we're pigeonholed into one compartment, we don't see what's going on throughout the building. And so you definitely need to control the narrative because if you get too many negative people or you get one pocket that says it doesn't work, even though it's not a reality, if you don't control that narrative, then you're starting from behind. So definitely celebrate successes. Make sure that the kids are able to articulate it and have rewards and have prizes and those kind of things. It can't be punitive. It has to be something that's open. So definitely, it worked for me. But as a leader in the building, it's something you need to research. It's something you need to be passionate about, and that's going to ultimately judge how it goes in your school.
Yeah, I love how you said it starts with you, right? You're going to be that driving force and you're going to lead the team forward with this is why we're doing it. And then you're going to reap the benefits of what you're seeing. And I know that I've seen some great things coming out of Turner Tech and what the students are producing, what the teachers are creating and working with their students on. And that's just to clarify, when did Bulb come on board? In what year?
We've been using Bulb since 2018.
Okay.
So we started pretty early. I was approached by Dr. Diaz and Lupe Diaz. She's over career and technical education for Miami-Dade County. Her work ethic and her insight has been nothing short of outstanding. She's great to partner with. And she brought the idea to me because she knows some of the things that, I've been trying to integrate and taking on a school that was kind of stagnant and stuck in its ways. And, I want to do innovative things. I want to do transcending things and get away from the Dewey Decimal System and status quo and just move on to different things. And it was the perfect platform for me. I met with Mr. Clay. He did an awesome job presenting the product as well. So I was sold pretty early because it was something that I really wanted to do. In these 2 years, we've been able to have 2 distinguished academies using Bulb, nationally distinguished NAF Academy, which is the Academy of Information Technology, which is heavy on Bulb, and the Academy of Finance. So it's been great for us.
That's fantastic. Thank you. So moving into that then, now that you've been established here, almost 2 years, it looks like. How has the transition to remote learning gone for Turner Tech? Everything changed back in mid-March. What role did digital portfolios play in Turner Tech's actual plan for remote learning?
Well, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't speak first to the social aspect as far as the impact on distant learning. So just being in it so early and having a head start, our kids, I believe, would have less mental health and anxiety issues because it was something that they were used to. It was something that they were familiar with. So it wasn't as abrupt as it might have been for someone else. So prior to quarantine, things were different. So right now you're talking equality and educational reform. Right now, kids who are being graded and assessed away, and sometimes they're being assessed, let's be frank, they're being graded on privilege. You know, who's to say that I may have a safe space to work? Or who may say that, you know, I have devices for everyone in my house and we're not sharing? Or who may say these things. So to start this process has been game changing for us because we had the opportunity for them to be comfortable, to have things on their phone, to have devices, to have the curriculum already integrated into the platform. So it worked out a lot. But COVID has exposed a lot. And so I'm happy that we were able to be ahead of the curve. So that was a blessing.
That's fantastic. Just out of curiosity, what are your students using in the way of devices? Are they on their own? Is it bring your own device? Is it one-to-one?
So we passed out about 1,000 devices.
Okay.
I guess the 13th was the last day of school for us, March 13th. So we spent basically the entire day that Friday passing out devices. Making sure that we, you know, all of the things that we were using, because we transitioned fairly early, trying to go paperless and not having books and having tablets and things like that and a phone, because, you know, it's a digital divide, and I know that, you know, we all know that. So we try to provide that for our students. So we did pass out a device for everyone that we could, and most people have their phones and their laptops. So we've averaged the first week, we actually averaged about 92 to 94% attendance of kids logging in on those devices.
That's fantastic, because nationally, that is not what's happening.
So
wow,
just
congratulations.
being proactive helped out.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Thank you. So now you're in it. Now you've been using it. You're coming to the end of the school year, which I think for you guys, you said is mid-June or early June? June 3rd. All right. So not too far. My kids are in the home stretch. They've got 2 more days. But knowing that you've gone through spring now, you've done remote learning, the students have been using their digital portfolios. They haven't skipped a beat, it sounds like. I know I've seen capstone projects coming in. I've been seeing work that they're doing that's been ongoing. It hasn't stopped. What does your 2021 instructional continuity plan look like? And how do you see digital portfolios playing a role in that?
Well, I mean, right now, the plan, again, like we said before, the plan is being built. It's definitely something that we want to incorporate. We're not, you know, this is something that's etched in stone now for us. It's something that we're definitely going to use. But so for internships, for instance, our internships now, we're using Bulb right now to connect with business partners through CTE and through Dr. Diaz. We have a robust paid internship program. And these students are able to present their portfolios using Bulb to prospective employers and mentors. So we're still in the middle of it. And I think moving forward, just for career purposes, I think it's something we need to continue. In the past, we brought people into the school and they've interviewed and sat around the table. I think this gives them a different feel, a different professional feel. So that's definitely a purpose of that. College interviews we've done using their bold portfolios with different colleges. Again, job interviews. We have a capstone project next week with the Academy of Finance, where we have about 30 professionals that will be tuning in, and the students will be able to present their portfolios and the culmination of their 4 years. I think it's criminal for them to be here from 9th grade to 12th grade and not be able to display something like that. And, you know, COVID, these 2 months don't define the 12 years they were in school. And so we have to continue and make sure we try to push for normalcy as best as we can. And Bulb has been a tremendous way to do that.
Because I still want to quote that, write that down, because you're right. This is they are not defined by the last 2 months, right? They've had 12 years of learning and growth and progress, and these last 2 months don't end that for them, right? It continues, it
Right.
keeps going. And I would love for you to give a little more detail around, we talked yesterday about this. You had mentioned next week, the big culmination, how excited you were to attend, to be able
Absolutely.
to see these seniors presenting on their capstone projects. All of the work and the collaboration that's gone on with your local businesses and how they've been supporting and helping, and how these students now get to present and shine through the work that they've done in their portfolios.
Correct. Well, right now, so next week I'll be participating. Mr. McBride, the academy leader, did a tremendous job of setting it up, and so the students each get a chance to present their capstone paper, um, their mentorship experiences. They have the opportunity, an abstract based on what they've done, the career description paper, all of the awards and accolades that they've received over the years. So all of these things are going to be presented. They get the opportunity to say, again, this doesn't define me, defiantly. And so I'm pretty proud of that. And next week they'll also be getting their cap and gowns for the virtual graduation. And so it's been a nice journey. I think, Bob, again, just being able to have that connection, being able to see their faces, being able to interact with different teachers and their peers without missing a beat, except the touch aspect of it. I think we've created a web of normalcy that most people haven't, and that's a testament to bringing in innovative changes and not being scared and not going with the status quo.
That's great. And actually, so as you were sharing, it looks like someone was asking a question around the 4 years of artifacts that you mentioned, Dr. Fraser. How does that work? So I know how it works within Bulb, but I'm curious, do they keep their work once these seniors graduate and head off to wherever they're headed next?
Well, so my dad was born, and I'm dating myself. My dad was born in 1949, right? And recently, I'm going through my mother's things. I saw a manila folder of his from elementary school. And, if you're in the educational system, you've seen cabinets and cabinets of these folders, and they go back, and your kids may have some at home that has graded work.
Yep.
You're supposed to go back and look through it, and you never do. And so, I mean, even just having those kind of things, like I've been totally against that for a long time. So this platform, you keep everything, and you also take it away to college. So now, not only am I using it in school, I get to refer back to it, and I get to put my college information on it. So now I've left Turner Tech, and now I still have this platform to continue to use while I'm in college, and I still have the mentors. I still have my teachers. I still have a support system. And so it's something that you can take away and not have something just for status quo to give back and say that you've done work. And
Right.
and I think, again, status quo, tell the teacher, grade the assignment, put it in the folder. Those days, this is not the 1700s. We're not out of schools, so students can help with the harvest with their parents. Like, we're in the 21st century, and we need to start innovating and moving to that way. And again, digital portfolios, again, is the way to go. And this has proved it.
Well, and I'm going to quote you here, #revolution, right?
Revolution.
Yeah, revolution. I love it. That's so true. Okay, so what are two pieces? And again, if there's more than two, or if you've got one, I'm just asking for two. But what are two pieces of advice that you'd give to educational professionals who are considering implementing digital portfolios into the coming school year?
The first thing is that your trainers. At the end, I was moved. I know Mrs. Ramirez, she's on here. I saw her sign in. So she's she's a dynamic intensive reading teacher. And I've had some kids that I didn't see it in them. And when they had the opportunity to sit in front of a group of juniors or sophomores or ninth graders and present their portfolio and train them and show them, you know, the work that they've done. And students are able to look and see, wow, this person has this dynamic portfolio, and I see them walking around the building. I didn't see it. Or for teachers to see that. So the people who you have training, it should be someone that they could relate to. It doesn't have to be a stellar person, but kids training and using the platform, I think the kids are the way to go. For me, I think it helps out, it sells it more, and I just think it's just powerful to have. The other thing, if you're going to implement it, is when we talk in revolution, things have changed. So I would definitely, like I said, celebrate successes. So there has to be a social media push. There has to be conversations through the PTA. The way that you go out and communicate this piece is going to be critical on how it's accepted. So Instagram, Twitter, the school's accounts, and all of those things, they play huge dividends on how effective it'll be and how well it sticks. Because again, you do want to control the narrative as well.
That's a great point. And hearing you talk about the social aspect of this, it makes so much sense, because you've got students right there. They're living in their Instagram, they're on their Snap, they're all over the social
Absolutely.
networks. But also to that point, thinking of myself as a parent, I follow all of those as a parent. So you're also informing the parent of what's coming down the pike, right? And yeah, and now we've got the added benefit of having parents participate in their portfolios and being able to see the work and what's coming out of these students as they're sharing. And then also too, just hearing you talk about your teams and your trainers. I know a few months ago, you and I actually had a conversation by phone, and you had shared with pride over the team and the work that had been done with them. Was there anything there when you started with them that you felt like you needed to step in to support, to give the little push to, or was it something that they just got and that they were able to run with and take off?
Well, that specific student, Antonio, yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked, to say the least, of his product. I think it's really the confidence of being successful at something. When you, as a teacher, and you have students, especially students of different intelligence levels, and they learn in different styles, you learn that you can't assess everyone the same way. And you know, they have to learn how to be independent, and some people work better in different ways. So this platform integrates all of the different learning styles, visual and audio and direct instruction from the teacher, and it implements and it integrates all the pedagogical styles into one. And so you can have a struggling student, a student that struggles with reading or that needs remediation, or you can have a student that isn't quite as astute because of whatever reason, social constructs or the teacher or whatever reason, but they have this platform as something that they can all get something from. And then the pride of succeeding, where I haven't been able to succeed before, I have this platform that everyone's on, and mine is comparable with people that I see every day that are on a pedestal. And it just brings that out of me to be confident enough to present my work in front of other people, when 2 or 3 years ago, there's no way that I would have had the courage or be able to do that. So yes, I was happy to see the trainings. I went to each training myself, each period. And it was a beautiful thing to see.
That's fantastic. I thank you for sharing that. And actually, I think this is a perfect time for us to move into what I had shared with you. Principal Frazier reached out to his students and to his teachers, And they came back and they were willing to share some of the work that they're doing. So I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna move some things over here. Let me get back to the screen so that we can just take a peek at a couple students first. And then I'm gonna also show one of our teachers over at Turner Tech. So this one right here, Principal Frazier, Bernaya.
Bernaya is one of our, we had two individuals that final, or that won, you know, the portfolio competition in Miami-Dade County of the individuals that dealt with bulb. And this is Bernaya. Bernaya is one of those introverted children, very introverted young lady, very smart. But you know, you wouldn't think that she would have something this dynamic just based on the way that she moved around the building. So you can get a chance to look through it and navigate it. I'm glad you took some shots of hers, because now you have someone on that spectrum that I'm speaking of. She's an athlete. And I think if you go and you look down, I think the individuals that are viewing, they'll be impressed with the work that she did.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that caught my attention when I was in her portfolio was that she had a page just about her letter of acceptance, and specifically speaking to the number of acceptance letters that she's received, and the pride that as you read through that page, how she accomplished that, and well-deserved why she had so many letter acceptances. Yeah. And then my next student here, we've got Sadre. So I would love for you to speak about him specifically, knowing that there was the portfolio challenge back in December and what came out of that.
All right, so Sadre, so he and we've actually been together since sixth grade.
Wow.
I was principal in middle school, and coming to a high school, he came with me, and we've been joined at the hip for a while. He's a spokesperson for Sprint 1 Million, and I didn't get a chance to speak to that. But that's definitely part of the digital divide. We through Sprint 1 Million, we were able to give out phones and for individuals that didn't have internet access. As a matter of fact, while we were here during COVID, I came back to the school, and there were elementary kids at a homeless shelter. They weren't able to work, and they had been despondent, and we were able to give them our high school phones to use. So it's been, again, digital conversion has been great. Sadre, he'll be attending Dartmouth.
Wow.
He's an Ivy League student now, and his platform he's been dealing with this since the beginning, since the inception. And he has a lot of things. His resume building is on there. His resumes are incredible. All of his successes are incredible. I see something about the Sprint 1 Million competition. He's on there. He's been a national spokesperson for that. But he also has everything integrated. So he has his things from finance on there. He has his abstract from his science teacher on there. He has his mentorship from his high school social studies teacher on there. He has his career description paper on there. So he has all of these things on here, and his English teacher has also put things on here for him to grade. And he's taking this to Dartmouth with him, and he's going to continue it, and he's going to have it for 4 years at Dartmouth and later on. So again, no manila folders, the depth of the manila folder. He can take this with him, and he doesn't have to walk around with that paper. It's environmentally conscious, and it's just a great way to transition. You know, so if you're one of those people that are stuck, again, in that antiquated system, now it's time to evolve. And someone like Sadre taking this with them, and Brianna taking her work with her, is testament to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, there was someone else that had asked earlier. So yes, digital portfolios within Bulb, they work on all devices. So he's going to be taking it with him to Dartmouth without the manila folder, and it can be plugging in on his phone, on his laptop, on his tablet, and then on an iOS, and also on a Microsoft computer. So he can free flow and use that information as he needs to. And then there is Marta Valdez, who is one of your teachers here also. And we had found this one in particular interesting because this was speaking to the actual capstone project that was designed for your students here. The capstone project, is that solely for seniors?
No, everyone participates.
Okay.
So it starts in ninth grade, and the seniors present, but it starts in ninth grade, and our just to speak a little bit about our medical academy, and she was a medical department head for the academy leader for some time, and
Uh-huh.
she groomed Miss Linez, who's also now the academy leader. Great program. They have some of the sharpest students in the country leaving that program, and their presentation and the way that they present to different professionals who come in, they're blown away. I've had some of them offer jobs on the spot
Wow.
as 17-year-olds. So again, I would love for you to show hers off. Hers is a detailed script by script, like this is the blueprint. She's exceptional, and I'm glad you chose her.
Well, and I'm going to actually now I'm going to show one of your educators that has given us login rights, which we appreciate. Suzette Harriet here allowed us to get into her actual bulb. So this is what we're looking at right now. These are the things, the collections and the pages that she has living within her portfolio itself. And this is just an example of the type of work that Principal Frazier's educators are doing with students. And she had mentioned too that she has some projects that she has students do together where they're collaborating together on a shared project within Bulb. And then she's able to see the final work, knowing that they all worked on it together, but each of them individually are allowed to then change out a particular image or a final image. And then that's how she can distinguish whose is whose, to be able to then give them the feedback, do the grading, all of the other stuff that has to get done, but through the process, allowing them to collaborate, to build a project together. This project was being created from home these past couple months, for example. And just how much she was able to work with these students directly, even from home, seeing how the projects progressed. And so I again, just another great example of how your educators are using this to connect with their students, to engage with them daily, and then to move them through to progress to that final end result.
Absolutely.
And
So and she's one that I've been able to go into her Zoom classrooms during this 4th 9 weeks. And so I try my best not to speak, and I don't show my picture, and it's mute. And I just enjoy it. I mean, after days of surveys and Zooms, and trying to build a plane as you're flying, and some of the frustration that comes, it's just nice. It's like going to a classroom that's therapeutic at the end of the day, just to sit there and see quality instruction.
Yeah.
So this is one of the platforms for me. So thank you, Dr. Harriet, if you're on. It was nice, very, very nice to see the interaction between her and the students. And again, this is the type of thing that Bulb brings for those educators and those superintendents and those individuals that are thinking about the program. Again, this is living proof. It's one thing for us to talk about it, but this is myself. I can tell you directly that it worked for me, and I can also show products that it's worked. And I'm definitely a fan of it.
Thank you. That's fantastic. And I think we can move now into into Q&A with Principal Frazier. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to make sure I get everything back up so that I can start seeing the Q&As that have been coming in, and if there's anything going on in chat. I know also too, listening in, part of my team here, Chelsea, is going to also be sharing some resources that we have within our resource center. And we'll make sure that in the recap and as we send out the recording from this webinar, all of those resources will also be included. But we highly recommend, part of the reason why I did not go into student portfolios is because Turner Tech has very strong security and privacy policies.
Right.
As do most schools, right? That's kind of a very important aspect to when you're implementing technology, that you're keeping that student information safe and protected. And so they were kind enough to let us go in and take a peek and get some photos of it. But you know, speaking to the security and the privacy element, that's one area that we want to make sure we allow schools and districts to decide how they want to do that. And out of curiosity, with your seniors in particular, do they have a little more freedom to share and show outside of school, or does that stay locked down?
Well, when they're presenting during capstone, of course they have to share, you know, because it's a two-way project. It's something that the person who's interviewing you, they have to have access to the things that you're seeing them. But FERPA, again, we do have strict confidentiality for our youth. So yeah, that would only be 12th grade, and that would only be presenting the project. Outside of that, no.
Okay, perfect. Yep. And so with that, I'm going to start with my first question here. It looks like Christina is asking, how did Mr. Frazier train his instructors to use the Bulb platform?
Okay, again, so I didn't train them personally. Again, I love the program. We had someone from Bulb come out and present the program during a faculty meeting. We had trainers come in and speak to my leadership team and the curriculum council, and train those individuals. Those individuals were able to go out and train, you know, the staff and the people, their constituents who they work with. And again, based on my response and how I felt about the program, which is important, when they went out and they went to speak about the implementation, it wasn't Mr. Frazier said do this, right? It was something, we're doing this. And I think that's key. The way that is said, the way that it's presented to their colleagues is key. So the way that you present it to them, and if you authentically, you know, want it is a big deal. Or it's just another acronym or another thing for compliance, and they already have a lot on their plate. So it definitely has to be something worthwhile, and I think we were able to do that. So again, I to answer your question and just to recap it, I would definitely, as the leader, be on board first, and then reach out for the training, and then get people that you trust that can speak to your vision and get that message out there. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, and actually just to follow up to that. So yes, Bulb provides training whenever you purchase licenses for your school or for your district. We have a great team that comes on site, or in this case, can also do it virtually and get you guys trained and set up depending upon the need. And so that's exactly what happened with Principal Frazier School. We brought in our trainers and they supported, and then to that, Scott actually, and you kind of addressed it already just now, I think pretty well, but just to make sure, Scott's question was it challenging to get your teachers to adopt Bulb with their students?
I mean, it was not. It was not. Again, but I think it would have been if it came from me. So again, like if the principal is the person training me and giving me a mandate to do something, it's different. Then I'm comfortable with my colleague, and my colleague is comfortable with this. There's layers. You're in a different layer. There's layers of it, and you definitely, if it's something that you want, you definitely have to trust your administrators and your assistant principals of curriculum and trust their expertise. And you definitely need to trust the expertise of your academy leaders and your department heads. And these people need autonomy to work, you know, and they need to be respected as professionals. And if you're able to do that and speak to them in a way that they understand that this is something that's beneficial to the school and them, then they'll be happy to do it. But I wouldn't force the mandate issue.
Yeah, that's a great point. And actually, I'm seeing here in the Q&A, I believe this is Dr. Lupe Diaz who is chiming in, not with a question, but with a response. MDCPS has trained all Career Academy leads using a train the trainer concept at all our 65 programs, as well as district-wide with all schools. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Diaz. Okay, from Laura, does Turner Tech currently have full online or blended learning programs? And if not, do you plan to implement any in the future? How can both be used for those types of models?
Absolutely. So great question. Turner Tech has, we're unique. Well, let me go back. The prestigious William H. Turner Technical Arts Senior High School. We're unique. I'm the principal of two schools. So day school, which is from 7:10 to 2:20, and then we have adult education from 3 to 10. And so I definitely, this has been working extremely well in the adult aspect, the blended model. I think those individuals have gravitated to it. They're a little older and a little more mature, and they have other things going on, and it's worked amazing. I don't think that's something that we're going to scrap. I think it's something we're going to enhance as far as the blended learning and the adult aspect of it. As far as day school is concerned, we're going to implement the blended model, but I still think the kids need that social interaction, that one-on-one, just that mentorship while they're developing, because there are conversations outside of education that need to be had by students, because you're not only teaching them academic things, they're learning things from you that are beyond academics. And so they need to be on campus. I believe that. But I do believe that they should be, doing some of this at home. And so we're going to find a balance. That's part of coming in the summer with my team and going through everything and making sure we have buy-in. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's great. Another question I have here, do they use their portfolios for college entrance and scholarships? And how do they share their work with stakeholders?
They do. Again, capstone presentations next week. We've had a robust internship program for the last 3 or 4 years. So they've been sharing it with potential interns, paid interns. And they've been showing that seniors have been showing and sharing their portfolio with different colleges and mentors and things like that. And yeah, they have. I wouldn't advise it for a younger kid, but a professional, and that's what they are. They're going out into the world and they're professionals, and this is a platform that they're going to, be familiar with, the sharing information. This is the way that we're the way of the world now. So they're very comfortable with it. They have a leg up, from other people who are coming in with a different skill set than ours. So I'm happy about that. And yes, they have been sharing. There's been virtual college tours. There's been, again, internship meetings, capstone meetings, interviews. So all of these things have been taking place. COVID couldn't stop us.
Love it. COVID could not stop us. And I see Dr. Diaz is jumping in again with another comment. CTE district-wide has in the past few years incorporated online curriculum in many of our career pathways, and COVID has just brought it to the forefront.
Well said.
Thank you for that. Yes, but it didn't stop it. I love it. Actually, I'm seeing here another question. Yes, in the chat, you're going to see a lot of links in there. Don't stress about trying to copy them over. We'll make sure that in the recap, since you've registered, you will be getting the recap with the actual recording from the webinar, And those links will be available in there as well. But if you see one and you have time to grab it, go right ahead. But we'll make sure that those are all included.
Okay.
And let me see if there's any more questions. Oh, Dr. Diaz, e-portfolios set the students apart from their competition. Is that in reference to the Innovate competition?
No, that's globally. That's
Okay.
something that we talk about here at Turner Tech. So our zip code is 33147. So it's poverty stricken. There are some things that take place that don't take place other places. But still, we're able to. Last year we had 99% graduation rate, and like we expect to compete, and so when you go out and you may come from the other side of the tracks per se, but when you get there, you're representing Turner Tech. You're representing your culture and the things that we're trying to do, and you need to go and you need to compete. And it's the way of revolution now. To be there, I'm sitting, I'm equal. My platform has been leveled, and I'm competing. So absolutely, the portfolios have been a game changer for closing the achievement gap and the digital divide. And so just socially, if you're, into those kind of things, then definitely Bulb is the program for you.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's criminal not to do it.
It's criminal. So, and I love how you're talking about we're competing. This really is the world that we're living in now. So many students are coming out of high school already with so much more learning and experience than I remember I had in high school, certainly way more than I did. And so they're able to now really showcase that work easily, simply be able to pull it up. Dr. Lupe also jumped in with students can provide their URL link to colleges and employers. And so opening that up so that they can present it to the world how they need to, so that they're always putting their best foot forward, right? It's
Absolutely.
We get to see the progress and the process as they're going through the learning within our portfolios. But then the student gets the opportunity to take the best of that and to showcase that to the world, just like you said, and to really be able to say, this is who I am, this is what I can do, this is how I can be my best.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, any other questions? If not, I think we're gonna, I know someone. Hold on, I'm just reading this really quick to make sure. Okay, so someone had been asking, Malcolm, had been asking about a business platform that does career readiness. Does Bulb customize programs for businesses similar, but outside of this platform? Okay. So Malcolm, I'm thinking that you're speaking to within education, correct? So does that sound familiar to you, Principal Frazier, about career readiness and a business platform that you would, or is this something, I just want to make sure I'm answering this question correctly.
Is he asking, can this be done in the business world outside of school? I guess is the question the way that.
Yes.
Okay.
As in, yes, you're speaking to outside the business world, Malcolm.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so yes, it can. And actually, we have folks here on our webinar today that would be happy to follow up with you and talk to you about that, because we do provide that as well. Right, because the whole point of, at least from our perspective, the way that we view digital portfolios, Bulb says it goes with you for life. So perfect example, we've got these seniors graduating out of Turner Tech now, and Sadre is a great example. He's off to Dartmouth and he's taking his Bulb with him. And that's going to go with him throughout those 4 years or however long he chooses to take education. And then of course, from there, we go into our professional world, and that portfolio should absolutely go with him. And it serves as, like you shared, Principal Frazier, that it's that manila folder that's in our pocket. So it's got our whole history, all of our learning, all of our experiences, who we are, what we're about, what we know. And that stays with you for life. Yeah. Well, unless there's anything you want to close us out with.
Well, I mean, thank you for the opportunity, you know, just to speak about some of the outstanding educators that we have in our building, and the outstanding students. Again, they make being a principal easy. So it's not me. You know, I'm here. I humbly get to benefit from all the work that they do. So thank you so much to those individuals that are here that support the school daily. Thank you to all the educators that are here. I think COVID exposed just how important you are, and that's important too. So thank you so much for the work that you do. And thank you, Dr. Diaz, you know, for introducing us to Bulb. It's been a blessing, and looking forward to continuing this collaboration and success.
Oh, yep. And just as it looks like Dr. Diaz is saying, this is the new norm, and Principal Frazier said it well. So I would agree. Thank you so much for your time today. We had a really large group attend today, and I think it's because it is so timely. It's something that we're all thinking through for the coming year, and how do we do this? How do we help our students, again, be successful? That's what it's all about. So thank you for your time. Just so you guys know, this is recorded. There will be a recap email that will go out with all of those links and resources that I know were shared in the chat. And we'll make sure that you have the recording from Principal Frazier.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. All right, home stretch.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.